What's up, gamers? I've been running quite a bit of a science experiment in my free time. I want to make slime creatures to get back at someone, but I really don't know the first thing about science. Haven't gotten past pouring water in a cup. Might be a while until some sort of chemical reaction happens, so why don't I play Slime Rancher for some hints? Slime Rancher was released into early access within January of 2016 by Monami Park. During this time, it got 7 major updates that added things like locations, slimes, and just extra stuff to do. The full version of the game came out August 1st, 2017 onto Xbox and PC, with the PlayStation and Switch ports coming later. The full release wasn't it for content though, as the game continued to get updates up to December of 2021. So let's get into the game itself. You play as the character Beatrix LeBeau, who was sent 1,000 light years from Earth to the far, far range. You spawn into the ranch, which will be your home and where you'll exploit slimes for all they're worth. Other than the starting area, you can expand your ranch 4 times at the cost of some money, with each expansion having small benefits. The grotto is away from the sun, so phosphor slimes don't burn up. The laboratory gives access to slime science, the overgrowth has food naturally spawn, without a garden of course, and the docks have a pond for puddle slimes. Of course, you don't want to free range your slime, so each area comes with some plots. You can place corrals, gardens, coops, storages, and all sorts of things on them. The market is also here, which is where you sell the pickups from slimes, known as plorts. These basic tools really aren't that much, but give you enough to have a great time, so after a tutorial on the backpack and a few other things, you're off to adventure. While out adventuring, you'll come across 5 unique environments, known as the Dry Reef, the Indigo Quarry, the Moss Blanket, the Ancient Ruins, and the Glass Desert. But more importantly, within these environments are some really unique slimes. To start off, the Dry Reef. It introduces you to the normal pink slimes, the rock slimes, the tabby slimes, which are like a cat, and the phosphor slimes, which are like moths and burn in the sunlight. There's also 2 rare slimes that spawn anywhere, the gold slime giving you the insanely profitable gold plorts, and the lucky slime, which is like the tabby slime, but it gives you coins. The Dry Reef doesn't do anything too crazy, which is understandable, as it's your starting area before all the others. Indigo Quarry is modeled after caves and underground levels found in other games, with it introducing us to the Crystal Slime, Rad Slime, Boom Slime, and Puddle Slime. The Rad Slime is super cool, with it being made up of radiation as the name suggests, with you even getting hurt if you stand near it for too long. I love that concept and find it super interesting that they chose to go with that instead of another rock variation like what they did with the Crystal Slime. The Puddle Slime is unique in the fact that it can't be in a normal corral, but instead needs a pond to survive and make plorts. The Boom Slime I also want to go more in depth with later, as it spawns more in the next environment, which is the Moss Blanket, with it being a forest, so it gets the Honey Slime, which looks great, and the Hunter Slime, which is modeled after a raccoon, or at least I think. Really just any wild animal in general. Finally, Boom Slimes, which are awesome, but it's interesting as they clearly aren't modeled after something specific, more like an explosion in general. Next is the Ancient Ruins, which really isn't that special, as it's the smallest location, and really only serves as a transition to the final environment. The door to enter into the ruins was pretty neat, as it forced you to have plorts from basically all of the other slimes up to that point, and the ruins gave us the Quantum Slimes on top of that, which are really interesting again. As its main gimmick, it teleports if you don't feed it, which is super risky if you have them next to a bunch of your other slimes. Overall, meh for the ruins, but the final environment is amazing. The Glass Desert is what I wish to see out of every other location, as it doesn't do the plain old desert biome, but instead fills it with glass caused by a firestorm. These said firestorms give us fire slimes, which, much like the puddle slimes, need their own place on your ranch to be able to live and make plorts, and this is known as the incinerator. Along with this, you can find fountains that are activated by plort statues. Using the water from here, you can bring life back to the desert, gaining you access to the Dervish slime, which causes tornadoes and has a ring around it, making it look like a purple Saturn. The Tangle slimes, which are plants that grab their food with vines, and finally, my favorite slime of them all, the Mosaic slimes, which looks stunning, causing any other slime it gets mixed with to be great too. The side effect from this awesomeness, I would say, is that it partially emulates the firestorms with the shiny particles that spawn around it. The glass desert is amazing, and to be honest, all of the locations are, but I do have my complaints. Like I said before, I wish they all did crazy twists on the trope like the glass desert does, but I would still love to see other common environments in future games, like an ice biome for example. I also hate that the dry reef is where the ranch is located, as the orange all of the time is just ugly looking. Though with the progression of slime types and environments, I don't know what they could have done to make it better other than the ranch looking different from all of them entirely. The concept of slimes for a farming simulator on its own is super cool, but it has an infinite amount of potential for future games as well, which I'm not exaggerating here. Then this gets added on even more when you consider the Largos, which are two slime variants mixed together to make you even more money. A lot of the combos with this are really cool. Some better than others admittedly, but you do have to choose which ones to keep, as if a Largo eats a plort that isn't one of their slime parts already, they become a goopy paint-like monster known as the tar. This is what keeps the game from being too easy, as you can't go bankrupt, so they made it so you can't just have a bunch of Largos around. Spread across the map are bigger slimes known as Gordos. Something cool is a party Gordo spawns if you're playing on the weekend. Nothing can move them, and it requires a lot of food to pop them. If capturing an entire species for monetary gain wasn't bad enough, now we kill their biggest slime members just because they swallowed a key, or even just for fun. The music in the game is perfect as well, being composed by Harry Mack. It just sweeps you into the world. Not in the way Hollow Knight does it to where it's for world building, but rather to just excite you to play more and reflect your mood. The ranch theme sounds like something that would actually be playing at a farm, and is laid back rather than adventurous. While on the other side of things, there's the Moss Blanket, where it is adventurous in a joyful explorer type of way, using more flutes and drums. While the Ancient Ruins is adventurous due to not knowing what's around the corner and holding feelings of a forgotten time. The tar theme instantly terrifies you into finding out what's wrong, and fast. Hell, there's even nighttime and relaxed versions of each environment's theme. So overall, yeah, the music's great. The game has a few small things to work on too, which they get right half of the time. To start, there's the range exchange, where various characters ask for various items in exchange for other items and money. This system works really well, but becomes pointless in the late game, as at a certain point, money just becomes pointless to you. And that's where the 7Z rewards come in. They give you various upgrades and ranch/backpack colors to you for a large amount of money. This is just a great money sink to work for, with it ending at 28 levels total. Earlier you might have heard me mention Slime Science. This is a crafting system that can get you decorations and quality of life upgrades for your ranch, like drones and teleporters. Though you might notice some materials can't be found, which is where the drills come in. I both love and hate this system, as you can leave the pump running for the 12 required minutes and not have to worry about it, but you could get stuck waiting on some materials to finish extracting. So what's this all for? To decorate your ranch, of course. Hidden around are treasure pods that hold the blueprints that can be crafted through Slime Science, of course, into trees, grass, Gordo traps, slime stages, lights, and even useful things like teleporters, though there is a limited amount of spaces across the ranch to place them, so you have to choose wisely. Other decorations are ornaments, which are hidden in boxes to place around, and in the Ancient Ruins are the echoes, which are lights. I hate that you don't put these on something specific, as it can be really hard to line it up with the backpack. It would be cool if there was one big tree that got decorated with more and more ornaments and lights the more you collect, but that could be too Christmassy. Fashion pods can be crafted to give slimes extra special looks, and in the DLC, you get the secret style pods, giving each slime some different looks, making even more Largo combinations possible due to the mixing and matching of these styles. It's really cool. Past the base stuff, there are 3 activities that could be considered minigames. Nimble Valley is a race to zap the insanely fast Quicksilver slimes in order to get as many plorts as possible. This has got to be the best minigame, as it differs from the main gameplay the most, and it's just fun to be up against the time. The slimulation is similar, as you discover glitch slimes hidden among the common ones, finding as many bugs as possible before a tar virus shows up. Pretty lazy of the devs to make you find the bugs for them. It's just a really fun game mode, but more tedious overall. Then there's the Wilds, which introduces you to the prehistoric saber slimes, which are unique in the fact that they can only be Largos, due to poachers probably. Hey, not me though. This one sucks the most as you're just forced to collect fruit across the island, which gets annoying and boring quickly. The rewards for playing each minigame are upgrades and eventually a ranch expansion with new plots for each one. This is a great way to reward players, but I wish they put more thought into enjoyment over time of these minigames. The story of the game is really subtle, with you only learning about it through Hobson's notes and the star mails you get. I didn't really get into the story of the game because of this, but for this kind of game, that's perfectly okay, as it doesn't need a story. The ending of the game was really sweet and somber though, which I appreciated. For general complaints about the game, first, you can't rewatch the ending song unless you play through the game again or look it up, which really sucks as it seems simple. At a certain point in the game, even with the 7Z reward club, money just becomes irrelevant, which negates the whole purpose of the game. Finally, the game just doesn't have a lot of replayability unless you take a long break away from it. But we aren't quite over just yet, as separate from the main gameplay is Rush Mode. You start off with an hour and have to collect as much money before the time runs out. You can extend this time by completing range exchange quests, which are a bit annoying as they're RNG, but never too bad that you can't just compromise what you're doing to get the extra time. Gilded Gingers are also given out as rewards, which you feed to Gold Gordos, meaning gold slimes, meaning gold plorts, meaning more money. I only had to restart once when going for all of the achievements, so as long as you know what you're doing, you should be fine. And that's it. Slime Rancher is a great game, but it's not without its flaws. It's just the perfect game to come home to and just relax. I'm not thinking while playing, man, are these plort market prices good for the overall gameplay? No, I'm thinking about how I want my slimes to ship me out more money and how to maximize the profits. So I would recommend Slime Rancher, but with a $30 price tag, I would either get it on Xbox Game Pass, wait till a sale, or just get the sequel. Oh yeah, the sequel! Slime Rancher 2 follows a similar structure as the first with an early access release, but that brings me at a crossroads. On one hand, I could play it right now, but I'm playing an unfinished product. Or I can wait till the full release, but I'm gonna have to wait a couple of years. I really need some time to think about it. I need to make sure nothing went wrong with the experiment. It's still just water.